Coming up, the latest from MP Jennifer Howard on the Remondis Energy from Waste proposal called in by the Coordinator-General. The state government announces new projects in Ipswich under the COVID Works for Queensland program, and state public servants who live in Ipswich offered the chance to drop the daily commute to their Brisbane office. It's Friday, July 10, 2020, and I'm Alan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today, which acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which it is produced and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. This podcast is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australians since 1999. This week, new employment-boosting projects were announced by the state government in response to the ongoing Covid-19 pandemic. The member for Ipswich and Assistant Minister for State explains what this will mean for the city. Thanks for joining Ipswich Today, Jennifer Howard.
Very nice to be here, Alan. Thank you for having me.
The projects announced this week under the COVID-19 Jobs program clearly support Ipswich City Council. Can you detail for us what's planned?
Yes, I'm very happy to. It's a great initiative. The Works for Queensland program has been running ever since we were elected in 2015, but it's always been for regional areas. As part of the COVID recovery, the government has expanded into South East Queensland as well. So we are benefiting from that. And in Ipswich alone, we are getting over $1 million of projects supported.
And all of them are through Ipswich City Council?
They're all through Ipswich City Council. So there's a total of $4.4 million across the Ipswich City Council local government area. And in my electorate in Ipswich, we are getting $1 million of that.
And do we know how many jobs that will support in Ipswich?
Yes, we do. It's going to deliver a total of 173 jobs right across the Ipswich local government area. And it's great news for us. And
do we know when the first work will start and when all jobs have to be finished?
Well, part of the edict for this Works for Queensland project is that they have to be shovel-ready projects. The idea is to stimulate the economy as quickly as possible. So these are all shovel-ready projects in our area. We've got things like the Queen's Park Croquet Club are going to get an upgrade to their existing croquet green irrigation. So they're going to get new irrigation lines, pump sprinklers and an automation to maximise water efficiency. And the SES depot, our wonderful SES volunteers here in Ipswich are now finally getting a better amenities building with proper toilet facilities. We're getting some of the CBD footpaths replaced where it's asphalt. We're getting it turned into concrete. Just really practical sort of hands-on projects like that.
Look, on COVID more broadly, is there a government view on where we'll be, say, in 1 or 2 years' time? Or is that just too hard to say?
Yeah, it is too hard to say. I mean, the virus itself has been tricky. I think it's sort of confounded scientists. But in terms of our economy, we really don't know what we're going to be looking at. All I know is that in Queensland, we've done pretty well. And I really do feel for Victorians at the moment.
Just on to a couple of other issues in the electorate, Jennifer Howard. The Coordinator-General has called in the Remondis proposal for a waste-to-energy facility. What's the latest on this controversial project?
Yes, 18 months ago, the Coordinator-General got the proposal from Remondis, and they've now announced that it is a coordinated project. So what happens now is the company, Remondis, will meet with the Coordinator-General. They'll go through how the public consultation is going to play out and a rigorous environmental impact assessment will have to be done through the Department of Environment and Science. So that will be the stages that we go through now. There is opportunity for members of the public to engage in that public consultation, and I know there is a lot of interest in the community. So I'd encourage them to keep an eye on my Facebook page, Jennifer Howard MP, where I'll make sure people have access to the links that they need to have access to get on to the public consultation process. The onus really is on the company now to inform the public about exactly what this project is going to look like for us. It's going to directly affect our lives, particularly people who live close to the Swanbank area. So it's the onus is really on the company to lay everything out for us to see. And then at the end of the day, after the environmental impact assessment is done, the decision will lie with council whether it gets the final tick off or not.
There's certainly some debate in the community about the waste-to-energy project, describing it as an incinerator.
Well, people my age think of incinerators. I think of the awful things we used to have in our backyard, where you just throw some things in and burn it. I know that the incinerators we're talking about now, I have read the proposal that Remondis have put up on their side, and I personally do have concerns about it, particularly being so close to where people are living now. That area, there's a lot of growth in that area. 20 years ago, when all the dump approvals went through, it was a very different place. So anyway, that's something I'm a bit concerned about. But I did have a read of their proposal, and they're proposing that 80 to 90% of the waste that goes to their facility will be recovered in some way, like it'll be recycled, reused or recovered in some way. But according to Remondis, there's always 10 to 20% of any landfill or waste sort of facility that you can't do anything with, and they're proposing to burn it to make energy.
There's been an announcement this week by one of your colleagues, Cameron Dick, that government workers who live in Ipswich but work in Brisbane will be able to choose to work from, and I'm presuming, the Icon building in Brisbane Street. Do you know how many workers that may involve?
Well, I think it might involve quite a few, because when I'm out and about in the community, I'm talking to people. We've got a lot of local people who say, I wish I could work in Ipswich. I live here. I'd love to be able to work locally, as a public servant. So it's estimated that up to 1,500 workers in southeast Queensland will now have a chance to work closer to home. Has there been any indication how many in Ipswich might take up that offer? I haven't heard yet, but I'm expecting it will be quite a few. It's something really close to my heart, Alan. I know when I first got elected, the big thing for me has been regionalising public service. We've got too much congestion in Brisbane CBD. Real estate is very expensive. We're very convenient train ride, or the Ipswich motorway has now been upgraded. It's a good drive to Ipswich. People could come here. They may to work, and I think it's a very logical, very beneficial for everyone involved step.
It's a little ironic that COVID is the prompter of this, because when Icon first opened as a state government facility, to be fair, there was some opposition from Brisbane CBD workers that were relocating to Ipswich. Who knows? This move might be permanent for a lot of workers.
Well, I think once people actually came out here and, spent some time, investigating, discovering what Ipswich has to offer, particularly our beautiful old houses that are very affordable, and just our way of life, I believe that they changed their mind quite quickly. And
finally today, Jennifer Howard, just to wrap it up, a few weeks ago we spoke about the transit centre. You said you had some meetings with the Mayor. Where are we at now with the transit centre?
Yeah, well, there's been uncertainty over the years. I know that the former Ipswich City Council were sort of tentatively interested in the transit centre, which we were happy to, sell to them or for a very reasonable price. But then, we went into administration, and the administrator didn't want to make a decision. He thought it was fitting that the next council should make the decision. I've now had confirmation from the Mayor that this council is not interested in the transit building at all. It's not going to fit with their plans, for the redevelopment in there. So I went and met with the Minister in the last sitting week. It was probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Minister Bailey. And we had a discussion about the future of it, and I believe that we are going to be taking some steps now. I know that the Department of Transport and Main Roads are having serious conversations with the Ipswich City Council just about what we can do there, what can and can't be done on that site. And I'll be able to report back very soon, I hope. Well, that'll be excellent, because everybody you stop in the street and talk to has their own idea what should happen to the site, as long as something happens. Well, I'd be interested to hear from people, because it did occur to me that maybe, once we get these, once we find out exactly what the site is fit for, in terms of council regulations, maybe we need to put it out to the community for them to have their say about what they think should happen.
Jennifer Howard, thanks for talking to Ipswich Today.
My pleasure.
Briefly, in other news, Ipswich City Council reports there are now 255 workers on the site of the CBD redevelopment. They are spread across the new library, civic plaza and administration building, all currently under construction. 4 mature fig trees have been planted on site to add an instant splash of green, while paving continues in the new civic plaza precinct. Work is also progressing on garden beds ahead of more landscaping. The under-construction new council administration building makes for an impressive sight, especially while driving across the David Trumpy Bridge. It's now hard to miss as work closes in on the 9th and final floor. For more information on the CBD redevelopment, visit shapeyouripswich.com.au. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australians since 1999. You can share this podcast from your favourite app, including iHeartRadio, or play Ipswich Today from your smart speaker. Suggestions are welcome for future interviews and topics. Just go to the Ipswich Today Facebook page and leave a message. Music is from Purple Planet Music. This is Alan Roebuck. Thanks for listening.